The Catacombs, a place in Hypixel Skyblock controlled and ruled by one class for the majority of dungeons being out. One class being the main thing that every single player is running. One class defining the weapons used and defining the meta for nearly a year. That class, Mage. Mage has just dominated everything. It has completely just blown past any other class in usage because of how good it is, right? Mage is so good, it is just amazing. But in reality, if we're keeping it real, Mage is sort of trash. Hello random people on the internet, my name is Banana, and today we're talking about Mage. And I want to preface this because I know this video is going to be controversial because a lot of people disagree with what I'm going to say here. But I'm going to preface by saying Mage is a very good class for normal catacombs. You don't need anything more than a Hyperion to beat normal floor 7. But when we're looking at outside of dungeons and later on in the game, Mage just gets worse and worse, and Master Mode Catacombs with a Mage is sort of disgusting right now. And I just want to talk about that because it's just been put in a very weird spot because I don't think the admins really know what they want with Mage because they know that they made Hyperion very overpowered in the grand scheme, and they've just been trying to fix it ever since. But every fix they do feels like it's went the wrong way, and then they just nerf everything at the same time, and it just doesn't work. The main pro with Mage and why it's been run for so long is the Hyperion and its clearing ability, because you can pretty much just right click anything and one shot up to Master Mode. See, before Master Mode, you literally do so much damage with Hyperion that you literally just look at the ground and kill anything and everything. But in Master Mode, they've been adding a lot of high health enemies, and not only do these enemies have high health, but they're also giving them a little bit of magic resistance. They're doing this because they know Hyperion is very good. They know it was overpowered for a time, but now it's getting weaker and weaker because of these resistances that they're adding. Top that off with the fact that they're also nerfing Hyperion a bunch, whether that be nerfing how good Chimera is on it for some of these higher late game players, or just nerfing the mana cost on it by making it cost a bit more and make it more annoying to use. Hyperion has been getting nerfed while enemies have been getting buffed against it, and it's making Mage be in a much weirder spot than it was, because it feels like they don't want Mage to be good for right click, but they also are nerfing left click at the same time. Left click Mage is why Mage was being run in Master Mode so much, because left click Mage allowed you to one shot a lot of mini bosses if you were high level, or at least like two shot them, and that was mainly because of the edible mace and sword swapping. So when they nerfed sword swapping and you can no longer do it to edible mace, the damage on Mage has just gone through the ground. It is really bad right now just to be a Mage and deal damage. And then they added a weapon that makes Archer just so much better than Mage in every way. So the Terminator is what has really made Mage just the worst class in my opinion, because it basically takes the clearing ability of Hyperion and the mini-boss killing ability of left-click Mage and puts it into one weapon that is very easy to use and very safe to use when compared to teleporting up close and risking your life with a hype. Obviously, it is nice to have a meta shift, but it is sort of annoying to see some of these mages just get absolutely screwed, because Mage, if it was a cheap class, if it was something that people had not invested like billions of coins into, I would understand. But the top Mage players have Chimera 5 Hyperions that are worth 2 billion coins by themselves, and then they also are forced to have 2 armor sets because left click Mage and right click Mage are both very different playstyles that require different reforges on the armor sets. So these top mages have spent billions on multiple armor sets and on their weapons, only to just consistently get nerfed when they are not even performing as well as some of these other classes, especially now with the Terminator in the game. because Archer, well, it still is probably the most expensive class because Terminator itself costs about 1.5 billion coins, if not more than that. Archer only requires one armor set, and Archer is very safe to play. It is just something that you play from really far away, and it just requires less brain power, I would say, than Mage. And it just feels bad for all the Mage players because right now it feels like these people who have put in so much time to get their high class level and just a lot of gear are getting all of that just wasted because Mage is effectively useless on Master Mode at this point. If I try and go into a Master Mode floor with a Mage, I'm just going to get absolutely bodied. I tried to record it for this video, but there's honestly no point because I literally just die instantly. But you can see if I go in as an Archer, I can literally just solo mini bosses now. I can do anything, and this is by no means saying that they should nerf Archer, but it is crazy that Mage, which has always been the class that can clear rooms and has been based on AoE, is just being outclassed by what should be a more single target, long range focused class that can now just run around sprinting and killing everything. I would love to see Mage get some more utility, especially in the right click department, because although Hyperion is overpowered in normal dungeons, it has always been pretty lacking in Master Mode, and left click has been the saving grace for mages. I think the worst thing when looking at Mage and how it is balanced is the fact that the majority of the community is still sort of under the belief that Mage is by far the best class because they haven't gone into Master Mode and they haven't seen that a Juju shortbow or a Terminator has taken the spot of Mage and pretty much just removed it from being anywhere near necessary in the game. And that just is a sort of bad situation for a class to be in, because when you have half of the community basically saying, oh, it's OP, and then you have like the top 1% of the community realizing that it is one of the worst things in the game, you're left with a class that is just going to stay bad at the higher levels because it's so good at the earlier ones. And I can sort of understand that. If you buff Hype, you're indirectly making floor 7 easier and you're making the earlier floors easier. But if you don't buff Hype, Mage will literally disappear, and all these Hyperions and stuff are only going to be used for Wither Shield, which sort of sucks. I like to see some of the magic damage. I like magic damage in the game. I understand the admins have been nerfing it ever since its release, but it's fun, it's entertaining, and it's definitely a little bit weak inside of some of these later on dungeons and against enemies in the late game that literally just don't take magic damage. It's just sort of funny to see how bad Mage is. So that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about in my Mage video here. Obviously, showed no Mage gameplay because I'm a professional YouTuber here, but I just wanted to play some Archer to show how bad Mage is now, because Archer just does everything that Mage once did. So, if you enjoyed this video, I've been talking a lot about balance recently in the game, but some people have expressed their like towards it, and I hope that you did like it. But if you did, please smash that like button, maybe even subscribe down below. I'd really appreciate it. It's the best way to support the channel. But that's going to be it for today. I will talk to you guys in the next video. Peace out.